Hello and welcome to Cycle, the program focused on Mongolian business and economy. I'm Batsir. Today I'm joined by Mr. Altai, CEO of Mongolian Stock Exchange. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
First of all, happy 30th anniversary to you and to all Mongolian capital market participants.
Thank you. Yeah, it's indeed a very important anniversary for us. It's not only an anniversary for Mongolian Stock Exchange, but it's the anniversary for our entire capital market. So it's a very important date, an important year for us.
Sure. Mongolia became a democratic country after the revolution of 1990. Free market was totally new to all Mongolians at that time. That transitional period was when Mongolian Stock Exchange was established. Can you tell us a bit about the factors that triggered the foundation of capital market in the country?
So in 1990, Mongolia started this transition from the communist country to the free market economy. So the main economic transition was done through the stock exchange. So as you might know, before 1990 in Mongolia, as a communist state, we didn't have any private property. Establishing of the capital market in Mongolia had the following purpose: to make the transition of the government-owned assets to the people of Mongolia. So in 1991, the government of Mongolia started this program of voucher privatization. So the main platform for that privatization was Mongolian Stock Exchange. The exchange itself was established on 18th January of 1991. So through the stock exchange, through Mongolian Stock Exchange, around 475 state-owned enterprises, state-owned companies were privatized to the citizens of Mongolia. So I would say that the stock exchange, Mongolian Stock Exchange, was the main hub for the economic transition from the centrally planned economy to the free market economy. So the stock exchange's role in Mongolia's democratization, in Mongolia's setting up of free market economy was vital.
As you said, the purpose of establishing stock exchange was to privatize state-owned assets. How successful was privatization process at that time?
So I would generally say that it was a success because the voucher privatization, the same process took place all over Eastern Bloc countries of that time, which includes the former communist states of Eastern Europe, as well as the former republics of the former Soviet Union. So Mongolia's privatization process as a whole, I would say, it was generally a success.
It's been 13 years since then. How do you evaluate MSC's contribution to the country's economic development made in the past 30 years?
So as I said, Mongolian Stock Exchange played a vital role in the transition of assets to the private hands from the government, so through the privatization. So that was one of the key roles that the stock exchange has played in the economic development of the country. So in the last 30 years, around 3.4 trillion tugrux worth securities were traded through the stock exchange, and also around 300 billion tugrux were raised through 60 issuances of initial public offering, IPOs, FPOs, bonds and investments. So I would say that, besides playing a role in the privatization process, the stock exchange and the capital market is now entering the new phase of the capital market for the economy, which is raising capital for the businesses and also connecting the investors with the new businesses, with the businesses which are coming and listing on the stock exchange. And also, I would say that it is worthwhile mentioning that 2 years ago, the first dual listing took place on Mongolian Stock Exchange. So, as you know, around 30 companies with mining assets, mining projects in Mongolia, raised capital on international markets such as New York, London, Toronto, ASX. And none of those companies were actually, before 2018, none of those companies were listed on the stock exchange. So in 2018, the first company, Erden Resource, has issued its shares as dual listing, through dual listing on the stock exchange, and which was a very important point for Mongolian Stock Exchange, or for Mongolian economy overall, because, as you know, Mongolia is a mining country, and Mongolia possesses vast mineral resources. But to exploit those huge projects, Mongolians needed, not only Mongolians, but investors needed to raise capital on international markets, on bigger stock exchanges. But there was no connection there was no link between Mongolian Stock Exchange and those bigger markets. But with the adoption of the new securities market law, which has enabled the dual listing, as a result, the first dual listing came to Mongolian Stock Exchange, which means that Mongolian people can buy their mining products, the shares which are related to Mongolian mining projects, through Mongolian Stock Exchange. So Erden Resource was the first one, and it is likely to be followed by several others. And recently, one Toronto-listed company has announced that they are going to issue their shares through dual listing on Mongolian Stock Exchange. So I would say that Mongolian Stock Exchange in the future will play a role of a bridge which will connect the mining projects which Mongolia possesses with Mongolian people, Mongolian investors. And through the stock exchange, Mongolian investors will be able to get exposure to the benefits that those mining projects provide.
Absolutely. Dual listing must be the milestone in the history of Mongolian capital market.
Indeed.
Yeah. If we compare Mongolia to other developing countries in terms of capital market development, what differences can we see? In other words, what's our advantage and what are our weaknesses?
Very good question. So, of course, Mongolian capital market has been expanding rapidly, particularly in 2021. And also, as you might know, in the last few years, Mongolian Stock Exchange has experienced the unprecedented boom of IPOs. So these are certainly the advantages of Mongolian capital market. Of course, we do have some disadvantages, or some weaknesses, I would say, but I think these weaknesses will be improved in the near future, which are the absence of institutional investors on Mongolian capital market. So I would say, as a country, as economy, we need the reforming of the existing pension system, so that private pension funds will be enabled to be set up in Mongolia, so that they could invest to the instruments which are listed on Mongolian Stock Exchange, which is in turn beneficial for all the people of Mongolia who are currently working and who are paying social insurances. So, as you know, the existing social insurance system in Mongolia is not that efficient, so that needs to be improved. So as a result, we will have the institutional investor base.
Of course, a legal environment must be crucial to the development of capital market in any country. How compliant are Mongolia's securities laws with international standards?
So when I previously worked as a CEO of Mongolian Stock Exchange, I was included in the working group which developed and drafted the new securities market law, which was adopted by the Parliament in 2013. So as a result, I would say the general legal environment in the securities market has improved significantly. So with the adoption of the new securities market law, we can now have the dual listings, issuance of new products, flexibility on Mongolian capital market and things like that. So I would generally say that the legal environment is quite good. Of course, you know, it will be improved as time goes on, as necessities arise.
Can you brief us on your partnership with other stock exchanges and international organizations?
So one of the notable things which took place throughout the history of Mongolian Stock Exchange was the partnership with London, strategic partnership with London Stock Exchange, which started in 2011. So as a result, we do now have a new, completely, international standard market infrastructure, which is the MILLENNIUM IT system. So it's not only the stock exchange's platform, it is the platform for the entire capital market of Mongolia. So as a result, we do now have more than 90% of the trade of the investors trade online, and also all the surveillances and other functions are being done online real-time basis. So regarding the MILLENNIUM IT system, it is the very same system which is used by London Stock Exchange and various other bigger global stock exchanges such as Borsa Italiana. Besides London Stock Exchange, we do have cooperations with several global stock exchanges such as Toronto Stock Exchange, TSX, in terms of listing. As I said previously, we now have dual listed company, which was initially listed on Toronto Stock Exchange, and which came and issued their shares on the Mongolian Stock Exchange, and also another company, another international, more international listed companies will be coming and issuing their shares on Mongolian Stock Exchange through dual listing. So through that, you know, international cooperation with other markets for MSC will develop and progress.
MSC introduced new systems into its operations, dual listing system, also T+2 system. What's your next goal?
So, the goal of not only the stock exchange, but the entire capital market is to play a bigger role in the economy of Mongolia. So it is quite becoming obvious that the capital market will be playing a more bigger role in the future in Mongolian, for Mongolian economy. So particularly, you know, with the setting up of proper environment for institutional investor base, Mongolian Stock Exchange and Mongolian capital market will be the point through which international investment will be coming to Mongolia. And also Mongolian capital market will be playing a huge role for attracting capital for bigger Mongolian businesses. So as such, I would say that the future of the capital market of Mongolia looks very bright. And it is becoming very obvious that we will be playing, our role in the economy will be increasing rapidly in the near future.
In 2017 or 2018, I guess, the trading volume hit the highest. What was the reason behind this achievement?
So yeah, since the beginning of 2021, the current year has been a very good year for us. The activity on the capital market has picked up. Our top 20 index has reached the record height, as well as our market cap, which stands at 3.6 trillion tugrux as of now, which is another record height indication. So the underlying reason behind all those was the, I would say, decrease of the interest rate on deposits. So part of that money, which sat as deposits in the banks, have been released and invested, came to the capital market of Mongolia. And also the adoption of the banking law, in accordance with which the biggest banks will have to go public in the next 13 months, before June 2022. So that instigated or triggered the investors to take a look and to pay a very careful attention to the capital market of Mongolia.
What's the latest news from the Mongolian capital market?
So the latest news was one of the largest enterprises companies in Mongolia, Altai, has submitted its prospectus to issue bonds, 2 trillion Tugru bonds, up to 2 trillion Tugru bonds on Mongolian Stock Exchange. So size-wise, it is the biggest issuance on the stock exchange, and as of now, the stock exchange is now reviewing the prospectus in accordance with the existing securities market law, and the decision will be carried out sometime soon. So I would say it is one of the latest top news for the stock exchange, because size-wise, as I said, it's by far the biggest issuance. And also Altai is the biggest exporter in Mongolia. And also several other companies, as I mentioned before. This year we're expecting another dual listing on Mongolian Stock Exchange. So I anticipate that this year is going to be a very successful year for us.
Well, thank you, Mr. Altai, for your time.
Thank you very much.
Well, this has been Cycle, the program focused on Mongolian business and economy. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.